Hello guys, and welcome to another tutorial. Today I'm going to be starting a series which will show you how to animate in Scratch. So let's get started. The basics of animating is you make a sequence of pictures that move so fast that the brain thinks it is one moving picture. So the way we do that is by making slight changes in costumes. So this is an example of animating. Looks like the cat is moving, but there are not enough frames for it to be a smooth animation. So I will give an example of an animation that is somewhat smooth. So we have here this little character, which is my OC, which I'm going to teach you about OCs, what they mean, and how to make one in this video. But for now, we will just use him to show an example of animation. So you can see that in this picture, he rotates in a circle. And that is animating. So you've probably seen animations before. Actually, the majority of advertisements and videos now are animated with techniques that I am going to be showing you in this series. So yeah, this series is going to teach you how to animate by showing the basics and how it works. So let's get started. Start by making a new sprite, and we will call this OC. So what OC is, and an OC is your original character, which people use OCs in their animations. Like Alan Becker, he has all the stick figures, and I have that little character that I just showed you. And so, yeah, an OC is just a character that you use in most of your animations. Today I'm going to show you how to make one. So we can start by making a circle, which is, I find is a good shape for head. Making it color that you like for skin tone. And depending on the style, you can give it a line size. Oh, it has a fade thing on. And sometimes it's nice to center the head so that it gives you a nice center point to start at. Shrink down a bit. Now what we want to do is want to make the hair. So, to make the hair, we click the copy button, make a new costume. Then we'll go back to this costume, we'll paste it. The reason why we have to go to the other costume is, if we were to copy it here and paste it, it'd move it down. But by going to the other costume, then going back, when we paste it, puts it in the same spot. So, if you hold Alt, it resizes the circle from the center, like that. So, when doing hair, it's a good idea to use the Alt button. Now we will give him a nice hair color. Maybe a brown, black, let's do brown. Okay, so for hair, what I find helpful is I drag it up, and then you just make the points more natural. Sometimes you don't want the top to be perfectly rounded, because hair isn't perfectly flat on top, but you don't want it to be too, square, unless you have a square OC. So then this line is too big. Oh. We will drag this point so it's like that. Drag this here. Now if we make this pointed, that's kind of a nice hairstyle depending on what you want. And then a tip for making girl hair, which is usually longer in the back, you make a square, or depending on the style, and you go like that, put it to the back, and then just touch things up a bit, and there, now you have girl hair, but for this video I'm going to be doing a boy. And then for eyes, there are many types of eyes. There is the classic, very regular dot, and there's also the mouth, which we'll just make a mouth right here. And there are many different styles of mouths. Some people don't even use any, like Boy McBoy. Then others use mouths, and you can do lots of different expressions with the mouth. But for eyes, there are many types of eyes. So we have these eyes. We'll duplicate, and we have our more oval-shaped eyes, which are used by me and Rocket and quite a few animators. They're stretch circles, which you can use for lots of different characteristics. Then there is also a technique used by many, including Potato Animator and Boy McBoy, which you take a line, you make it pretty thick, and if you hold shift, you can make a line perfectly straight. And yeah, 2 lines for eyes. So, a tip for making eyes is, instead of doing them like that, if I move it over, you will probably see that they're not exactly the same size. So a tip is, you make one eye, click copy, switch to another costume, go back, paste, and then hold the arrow key until you feel like it's in a good position. Then you hold shift and click the other eye, then click group. Now the eyes are one thing, which you can move around, which is very good for expressions. So for these 2 types of eyes, oval and lines, a really cool way to change the expressions is by taking a rectangle that is the same color as the skin tone and taking off the lines, and then he's happy. He is feeling cool. He is like thinking something is weird or like confused, or for having their eyes shut, just do 2 so that there's this thin sliver. And the same goes for the oval eyes, except for the oval eyes, it changes, which means you can have different expressions, because it's not straight down like a line. There's like it is rounded, so the higher it is, the difference it makes, because then the more you can see the eye. But yeah, so that's the basics of the eyes. And I think these eyes are uneven, but you can just fix that by copying, pasting, and moving all the way over here. And shift click and group. So I'm going to be going with these eyes, and I find, depending on what you want your OC to be like, you can bring his hair to the front, which makes it go in front of the eyes, so then if you want to have like more bushy hair, it looks better that way. So I'm going to be using this, so I'm going to delete the other eye examples, but feel free to pick the style of eye you want. And then now we're going to be focusing on the body. So different people have different types of bodies. Some people have like a circle, others have a square, and some have a more complex shape, like maybe they take a square, then round it off by using the reshape tool, making a point here, and if they're curved, then when you delete the corner point, it makes a really nice rounded shape. So that's what I use for my current character that I had showed you before. So that's what I'm going to do for this one, but feel free to use the type of corners you want. The pointed ones look nice depending on what you're doing, and I will also show you some other body types in a minute. So depending on what you want to do, some people will put it under the head just like that, or others, like I had on one of my OCs, will make a circle, put it at the back, then put it in front of the body, and then give like a little neck shape, which it just depends on what you want to do. So that looks pretty nice. But if you want to have an extra cartoony OC, it can look more cartoony if you just have the head directly connect to the body, but that's still up to you. And yeah, so for arms and legs, there are different styles. Some people use a line, which I have used on a couple of my OCs, so that for the feet, this is just the quick arms and legs. So they just do that. Oh, his body is really unproportional. Anyway, so you just drag these in a bit. I'm just gonna delete that. Copy and paste. Flip and then move it all. If you hold shift and click the arrow keys, it moves it over more drastically. So then if we drag in the arms, this provides for very easy arm motion. So if you put an elbow joint, then you drag up the arm, drag it down, or even for the legs, it's pretty easy too. So yeah, you just bend the knee, and that's a simple way to make limbs. Bring it forward, backward, two forward. There, that's a pretty cute OC. Or there's other types of limbs where instead of doing lines, which are simple and useful, but not everyone wants to have simple. So if we make this a different color, we can do some cool stuff. How about a nice red? And you also want to keep your lines consistent. If you have lines on the face, you want to have lines on the body. If you have lines on the body, you want to have them on the face. So we're going to make an arm. And I find it easy to start with circle. Bring it over like that. So we have a nice shape like that little shape, which looks like the top of an arm. So it's a little bit big, so I'm just going to shrink it down a bit. Now if you put it behind, you have a shoulder. But there's more to an arm than just a shoulder. So we're going to select the head so we get the same color. And we're going to make another circle here. And drag it like this. Then you want to have a little rounded spot here. That really doesn't look good. Like that for the elbow. Because if you don't have that, then your elbow will be like really square. And then when you bend the arm, it doesn't look good. So now we drag this here, shrink it so it's about the same size, then put it behind. He has a nice little arm. Then to just move it, you just rotate it. Then if you're gonna have it like this, it looks good to bring it to the front. And then we'll just put it back the way it was. So then, yeah, we'll take this, copy it, go back and paste, then flip. Now he has two cute arms. So that is one way to do arms. Another way to do arms, you can do detail and have all the fingers like some users have, or you can just do it really simple. Some people just use the line arms, others don't have arms. Or one of my old OCs had the shape, I took a square to a rectangle. Then I did that little point trick where you make a rounded edge. Deleted the corner. Then I took a circle and just made a circle for a hand. That OC I had actually used for a really long time and I really liked it, but I felt like I needed something different, so I tried more this style. So if I take this arm, copy it, paste it, flip it, move it over, and delete the arm from behind. There. That's a nice little OC. So these are two different arm types. There's also the arm type used by Boy McBoy, which doesn't really have much of an arm. its hands, which is makes for really easy motion. Like, you don't have to do all the elbow and stuff, you just drag the hand around. So, yeah, that was also used by Rocket too, and I had that on one of my OCs. So, here's a couple different hand types. But I am going to go with this one, not this one, this one, because it has I like the elbow joint. It's very simple, and it looks pretty good. So, yeah. So now, we will work on the legs. Some legs are different than others. Some legs are just like that, which matches with circle hands. And others, like on my OC that had this very square arms, I took square and I made a point here, and I dragged it up so you have legs. But these legs I find are pretty hard to animate because, like, for every motion of the leg you have to make a point, drag the knee, and like move everything around, which is why on my latest OC I tried a different approach for the legs, which very similar to the arms. I actually took a circle. If you hold shift when you rotate, it rotates on like 90 degrees and 45 degrees, which is nice for making like certain shapes. So for my legs I did like this. So I made kind of like a rounded square, but not perfectly round. And then it's a bit wonky, I'm gonna fix that. And I had it like that, which this, you just drag it up, copy, paste, flip, and move. Put it back. Then for the shoe, all I did was I think I just made a blob or something. The shoe, that really doesn't look good, but oh well. We will talk about shoes in a minute. And I'll just do these like this so you can see the difference. So those legs are pretty easy, just like bend it like that, but there's no knee joint, which you can add the knee joint pretty easy. You can do it like the arms, which would be easier if you're doing shorts, but it depends on how you're doing it. And then for the foot, I think I just actually went like this. Dragged up the corner, dragged up the bottom, which gives kind of like a little shoe shape. So, Control C, Control V. Oops, didn't copy it. Then hit select, shift arrow keys. So there, we now have a pretty cute OC. So yeah, there's multiple types of shoes. You could even put, like, let's say, put some laces on it. Wow, the marker was really big. Actually, if those were white, that actually looked pretty good. So, just all depends on what your preference is and what you like for your style. So, feel free to choose your own arm type, eyes, or anything out of the categories, or even try to make your own style if you want. Like, there's endless possibilities of making an OC. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for making the OC. Next time we will be talking about basics of animating and how to animate our little guy here. But yeah, until then, see you later and scratch on.